we'll show you how to insert or replace the SIM card on an OmniSense G7 air quality monitor gateway. First, remove the 4 screws that hold on the top cover. These screws use a #1 Phillips screwdriver. Be very careful when removing the lid because the cellular antenna, as well as the cable for the display, are attached to the lid. Alright, now you can see inside the gateway. This is the cellular modem. This is what holds the SIM card. It's on the bottom side of this. So we're going to remove this circuit board, remove the cellular modem so that we can access the SIM card socket. Step 1 is to loosen the 2 nuts. If you happen to have, this is not all models have a differential pressure sensor. If yours has it, you need to loosen these 2 nuts so that we can create space here to lift the circuit board up and out. These use a 5/8 inch wrench. Pull them out so that they're out of the way, and this will now allow the circuit board to come up and out. Our next step is there are 4 screws on the corners holding the circuit board into the enclosure. We're going to remove those 4 screws, again using a #1 Phillips screwdriver. Okay, as you lift the circuit board out, lift up and out until you can slide. You don't want to pull it all the way out because you can't. So until you can slide the modem out of the USB socket. You now have the modem in your hand. The antenna connector came off as I did this, which is okay. On the back of the modem, you'll see the SIM card socket. We're just going to slide the SIM card in. The SIM card has a corner cut off. Note the orientation as the SIM card goes in. Do not push too hard as you push the SIM card in. There's a little plastic stop right there. If you push too hard, you'll break it off. This SIM card is properly and fully inserted now. Next step is to reconnect the antenna. This is a fairly delicate connector. It just snaps in. It must be lined up correctly before you apply pressure to snap it back in, otherwise you will damage the connector. It is now connected. We're going to reinsert the modem. Make sure the modem is fully inserted and seated in the USB connector. When it is, you'll see that the end of the modem there lines up with the end of the circuit board. Okay, carefully lower the circuit board back in place. Don't put stress on this antenna cable. Now we're going to screw the nuts back on to the differential pressure bulkhead connectors. I'm going to screw them on finger tight. These big nuts can be a little frustrating. Do not cross thread them. You'll know they're cross threaded if they're not spinning on easily. Okay, cross threaded means they're going on at an angle. You don't want to spin it on at an angle. You'll ruin the threads and you'll not be able to get the nut back on. Should spin on easily, just like that. Next step is to snug those nuts back up. Do not turn this side, only this side, because you do not want to twist the tubing that's inside here. It doesn't take a lot of force to snug these up. Those are nice and snug. We're going to put our 4 screws back in that hold the circuit board in place. If you do happen to be using a drill driver, very low torque. This one's set on 3. These are small screws, use low torque. Or better yet, just use an ordinary screwdriver. Be careful with how you run the antenna cable here. Notice that I'm moving it down because it wants to go this way. When the cover is back on, this is going to end up over here, so you want the antenna connector pointed this way. Make sure you don't pinch these cables or get them between the light pipes here and the LEDs that are on the circuit board. You don't want these cables getting in the way. Goes together easily, no force required. Replace the 4 screws that hold the cover on. And that's it. You're done.